Before we begin, a quick and important disclaimer. The following content is provided strictly for educational and entertainment purposes. It does not constitute legal, financial, or psychological advice. The laws surrounding domestic relations and matrimonial proceedings vary significantly by jurisdiction, and the specific facts of your situation are unique. No part of this video should be used as a substitute for the counsel of a licensed attorney, a certified financial planner, or a qualified mental health professional. We strongly urge all viewers to conduct their own due diligence and consult with professional experts before making any decisions that could affect their legal rights, financial standing, or personal well-being. Imagine for a moment that you are standing on the edge of a financial and emotional cliff. Below you is a complex, multi-billion-dollar industry designed to extract as much capital as possible from your personal tragedy. In the United States, the average cost of a contested divorce can range from $15,000 to well over $100,000, often leaving both parties depleted of their life savings, their retirement accounts, and their mental health. For decades, the only way through this gauntlet was to hire a professional gladiator, an attorney, at $300 to $500 per hour, and hope for the best. But a seismic shift is occurring in American culture. We are witnessing the rise of a controversial and disruptive phenomenon: the divorce university. This isn't a brick-and-mortar institution. It is a sophisticated digital ecosystem of masterclasses, toolkits, and online curricula designed to transform the average citizen into a strategic litigator of their own life. Today, we are performing a deep dive analysis into why thousands of Americans are choosing to bypass traditional legal gatekeepers in favor of digital blueprints. We are exploring the unbundling of the legal system, the commodification of heartbreak, and the potential outcomes for those who attempt to treat their separation like a structured academic course. The American divorce rate has hovered between 40% and 50% for decades, creating a massive, recurring market of individuals in crisis. Historically, the legal system has operated as a black box. You pay a retainer, you hand over your documents, and you wait for a professional to tell you what your future looks like. This adversarial model thrives on conflict. The more you fight, the more the billable hours accumulate. However, the contemporary American consumer is different. Raised in the era of WebMD and DIY investment platforms, today's individuals are increasingly skeptical of high-priced intermediaries. They want transparency, they want data, and they want to feel a sense of agency. This is where the concept of a divorce university enters the chat. These online platforms are not just giving out forms. They are teaching people how to manage discovery, how to calculate child support according to state-specific formulas, and how to utilize historical trends in judicial rulings to their advantage. Consider the case studies of the pro se movement. In many U.S. jurisdictions, the number of people representing themselves in family court, known as pro se litigants, has skyrocketed to nearly 80% in certain counties. This isn't always a choice made out of poverty. It is often a strategic decision made by middle-class professionals who realize that the cost of a traditional attorney might exceed the value of the assets being divided. These individuals are the primary students of these online divorce curricula. They are looking for a roadmap through a system that feels designed to confuse them. In this video, we are going to solve the fundamental problem of information asymmetry. You will understand exactly how these digital platforms operate, the psychological tactics they use to market to the vulnerable, and the cold, hard reality of whether an online course can actually stand up to a veteran trial lawyer in a courtroom. To understand the rise of the divorce university, we must first analyze the breakdown of the traditional American legal model. The billable hour is the primary driver of the industry, and it creates a natural misalignment of interests between the client and the professional. If a lawyer can resolve a case in 5 hours, they make $1,500. If they can drag it out into a 2-year war, they make $50,000. This systemic incentive for conflict has led to a cultural backlash. The university model promises to cut through the noise by providing modules on everything from the psychology of the narcissistic ex to advanced asset tracing for the non-professional. They are selling the idea that knowledge is a shield. By deconstructing the process into digestible, step-by-step lessons, these platforms aim to lower the cortisol levels of their users, replacing panic with a checklist. We have to look at the historical trends that led us here. In the early 2000s, legal tech began with simple document automation. Think of platforms that helped you print out a basic will or a simple uncontested filing. But as the creator economy matured, experts in family law, finance, and psychology realized they could package their expertise. Instead of selling their time to one person for $500, they could sell a digital divorce toolkit to 10,000 people for $500 each. This is the scalability of expertise. It represents a shift from service to product. For the consumer, this looks like a masterclass-style experience. You log in, you see high production value videos, you download spreadsheets, and you join private cohort groups of other people going through the same process. It turns a solitary, shameful experience into a communal, educational one. However, we must also address the risks. Law is not just a set of rules. It is a set of relationships and local nuances. Can a pre-recorded video truly prepare a person for the specific temperament of a judge in a rural county in Ohio versus a metropolitan court in Los Angeles? Probably not. This is where the tension lies. These online universities often walk a very fine line between legal information and legal advice. In the United States, the unauthorized practice of law is a serious matter. Most of these platforms stay safe by using heavy disclaimers, like the one we started with, stating that they are merely providing a framework. But for a user who is emotionally compromised and financially desperate, that framework can feel like a potential outcome that is much more certain than it actually is. In this deep dive, we are going to break down the 3 pillars of the divorce university model. First, we will examine the legal literacy pillar, how they teach the average person to speak the language of the court. Second, we will analyze the financial strategy pillar, the tools used to track down hidden assets and calculate the long-term impact of alimony. Third, and perhaps most importantly, we will look at the tactical communication pillar, the scripts and methods taught to handle high-conflict interactions without escalating legal costs. By the end of this series, you will have a comprehensive understanding of whether these digital platforms are the future of American domestic relations or a dangerous shortcut that could lead to devastating financial consequences. This is more than just a video about divorce. It is a study of how technology is dismantling one of the last remaining closed industries in America. It is about the power of information and the dangers of oversimplification. Whether you are currently navigating a separation or you are simply a student of contemporary culture, understanding the divorce university is essential to understanding the modern American landscape of conflict and resolution. We are going to peel back the curtain on the marketing, the mechanics, and the math. Let's begin by looking at the specific hooks these platforms use to capture their audience during the most vulnerable moment of their lives. The marketing funnel for a contemporary online divorce university begins long before a user ever types a credit card number into a checkout page. In the year 2026, predictive algorithms are more sophisticated than ever. Imagine a person named Michael, a 38-year-old marketing manager living in a suburb of Chicago. Michael has had a difficult 3 months. His search history begins to reflect his internal turmoil. He searches for the cost of one-bedroom apartments in his zip code. He visits websites for high-yield savings accounts to see how to move individual funds. He looks up the definitions of marital property versus non-marital property in the state of Illinois. To the big data engines of 2026, Michael is no longer just a consumer. He is a high-intent lead for the divorce education industry. Within 48 hours, his social media feeds are populated not with ads for divorce lawyers, but with invitations to a masterclass. The hooks used in these advertisements are psychologically engineered to pivot Michael away from fear and toward a sense of intellectual dominance. They do not use the language of the courtroom, they use the language of the boardroom. The first hook often focuses on the concept of the information gap. The advertisement might state that the biggest expense in a divorce is not the legal filing, but the information you do not have. This creates an immediate open loop in Michael's mind. He begins to wonder what his spouse's attorney knows that he doesn't. He wonders if there are historical trends in judicial decisions that he is blind to. The divorce university positions itself as the bridge across this gap. It reframes the legal process from a traumatic life event into a project management task. This is a critical psychological shift. By treating the dissolution of a marriage as a course to be studied and a curriculum to be mastered, the platform offers the student a sense of agency in a situation where they feel fundamentally powerless. This is the core of the viral appeal. It is the promise of transforming from a victim of a system into a strategic architect of a new life. Once Michael clicks the ad, he is entered into a sophisticated nurture sequence. He has shown case studies of people who, just like him, were facing the potential outcome of losing 50% of their retirement or losing significant time with their children. These case studies highlight individuals who used the university's framework to organize their financial disclosures so perfectly that they saved 20 hours of billable attorney time. In the economic climate of 2026, where inflation has pushed the average senior partner's rate to $550 an hour, the potential outcome of saving $10,000 in fees just by being organized is an incredibly powerful motivator. This is the first module Michael encounters, the digital vault and document organization. The university teaches him that his primary weapon is not his voice, but his paper trail. He is instructed on how to create a forensic-level audit of his own life. Imagine Michael sitting at his kitchen table at 2 a.m., the blue light of his laptop illuminating a spreadsheet provided by the course. The spreadsheet is not just a list of assets. It is a tactical map. It includes step-by-step details on how to categorize every transaction over $500 for the last 3 years. The university provides scripts for how to request records from banks without alerting a spouse, and how to use cloud-based storage to ensure that evidence cannot be deleted or tampered with. This level of detail is what separates a divorce university from a simple self-help book. It is an immersive, high-stakes educational environment. Michael isn't just learning about law. He is learning about logistics, data management, and strategic communication. A secondary but equally potent hook is the psychological management of high-conflict personalities. Many online divorce universities offer specific tracks for dealing with what they call the high-conflict spouse. These modules use historical trends in behavioral psychology to provide the student with a set of protocols. One such protocol often taught is the gray rock method, which involves becoming as uninteresting and non-responsive as a gray rock to discourage a high-conflict individual from seeking an emotional reaction. Michael learns to strip all emotion out of his text messages and emails. He is taught to use the BIF method: brief, informative, firm, and friendly. By providing Michael with these specific communication templates, the university is essentially giving him a script for his life. This reduces the cognitive load of the divorce. Instead of agonizing over how to respond to a provocative email, Michael simply refers to Module 4, Lesson 2, and copies the template. The depth of these programs often extends into the realm of shadow litigation support. While they cannot represent a student in court, they can teach the student how to be a better client or a more effective pro-se litigant. For example, a common module in 2026 focuses on the psychology of the deposition. Through high-definition video lessons, veteran trial consultants explain the subtle body language cues that can signal a lack of confidence. They provide a step-by-step breakdown of how to answer questions without volunteering extra information. They use case studies of past depositions to show how one wrong word can change the trajectory of a settlement. For Michael, this is a masterclass in self-preservation. He feels that he is being coached by a team of experts that he could never afford to hire individually. This creates a sense of loyalty to the platform. He isn't just a subscriber. He is a disciple of the method. We must also analyze the community aspect, which is a major driver of retention for these platforms. Most divorce universities include a private, moderated forum. In these digital spaces, thousands of people like Michael share their real-time experiences. This creates a massive crowdsourced database of legal intelligence. If Michael's spouse files a specific motion in a Cook County court, he can search the forum and find 3 other people who faced that same motion in the last 6 months. He can see what their potential outcomes were, which arguments the judges found persuasive, and which tactics backfired. This peer-to-peer data sharing is a disruption of the traditional legal model, where that kind of specific local knowledge was the exclusive domain of expensive local attorneys. Now, that knowledge is being democratized and commodified. As we look closer at the financial architecture of these platforms, we see a tiered pricing model that mirrors a traditional university. There is the base tuition, which provides access to the core modules. Then there are the graduate-level add-ons, specialized seminars on cryptocurrency valuation and a marital split, masterclasses on navigating international custody issues, and one-on-one coaching sessions with financial neutrals. By the time Michael has spent 3 months in the ecosystem, he might have invested $3,000 in his education. To an outsider, this seems like a significant amount for an online course. But to Michael, who is looking at a projected legal bill of $40,000, the $3,000 feels like an insurance policy. He believes that his education will allow him to walk into his lawyer's office, if he chooses to hire one, not as a confused petitioner, but as an informed partner. Or, increasingly common in the culture of 2026, it gives him the confidence to walk into the courtroom alone. This leads us to a critical intersection of law and technology. These universities are teaching students how to use AI-powered legal research tools that were once only available to large firms. They are showing people how to run their own conflict of interest checks and how to use public records to verify their spouse's lifestyle expenses against their reported income. The university is essentially turning Michael into a one-man law firm. But as Michael prepares to file his first solo motion, he faces a terrifying question. Is he actually learning the law? Or is he just learning how to mimic it? The difference between those two things can be the difference between a successful new beginning and a decade of legal appeals. What happens when this educated, hyper-prepared litigant actually meets the reality of the American judicial system? In the next part of our masterclass, we are going to look at the unbundling of legal services. We will examine how attorneys are being forced to adapt to this new breed of client who arrives with a 300-page binder and a syllabus. We will explore the rise of limited scope representation and why the traditional law firm model is currently facing its most significant existential threat in a century. Is the divorce university the great equalizer? Or is it creating a new class of legal participants who know just enough to be dangerous to themselves? We dive into the actual mechanics of the courtroom clash next. The transition from the digital classroom of a divorce university to the physical reality of a United States courtroom is where the theoretical meets the tactical. In the year 2026, this intersection is increasingly defined by a concept known as the unbundling of legal services, or limited scope representation. Historically, an attorney was an all-or-nothing proposition. You hired them to handle every phone call, every filing, and every hearing. But for the modern student of a divorce university, the attorney's role is being surgically redefined. Imagine Michael, our 38-year-old marketing manager, standing in the hallway of the Daily Center in Chicago. He is holding a heavy, professional-grade 3-ring binder, meticulously indexed according to the specifications of Module 7, Evidence Preparation and Courtroom Etiquette. He has not paid a $40,000 retainer. Instead, he has utilized what the industry calls a la carte legal support. Case studies from 2025 and early 2026 indicate a sharp rise in litigants who hire attorneys for specific, high-stakes tasks while performing the bulk of the administrative and investigative work themselves. Michael has hired an attorney, Sarah, specifically to sit with him for 3 hours to review his marital settlement agreement and to provide a 1-hour coaching session on how to address the judge. This is the unbundled model in action. Sarah does not represent Michael in the traditional sense. She is a consultant. The potential outcome of this strategy is a significant reduction in total expenditure, but it places a massive burden of competence on Michael. He is the lead architect of his case, and the divorce university is his blueprint. Step by step, Michael has followed the university's instructions to create his discovery binder. This isn't just a collection of papers. It is a structured narrative of his financial life. Tab 1 contains a chronological timeline of the marriage's financial milestones. Tab 2 holds the last 5 years of joint tax returns, with every suspicious deduction highlighted and cross-referenced with a corresponding bank statement in Tab 3. Tab 4 is the Statement of Net Worth, a living document that Michael has updated weekly using the university's proprietary software. This level of organization is designed to do one thing: minimize the time a judge or a secondary legal professional needs to spend looking for facts. In the high-volume environment of 2026 family courts, where judges may hear 30 cases in a single morning, clarity is a form of power. Imagine the scene as Michael's case is called. On the other side of the aisle is his spouse's attorney, a veteran litigator who represents the old guard model of full-service representation. This attorney is charging $500 an hour and is prepared to argue that Michael is hiding assets. In a traditional scenario, Michael might be paralyzed by the formal language and the aggressive posture of the opposing counsel. However, the divorce university has prepared him for this specific psychological environment. He has watched the module on high-pressure cross-examination. He knows that the opposing attorney's goal is to trigger an emotional response that makes him appear unstable or dishonest to the judge. Michael employs the gray rock communication technique he practiced in the university's interactive simulations. He provides brief, factual answers. He refers to his binder by page and paragraph number. He is not a grieving spouse in this moment. He is a data-driven litigant. The reaction of the judiciary to these hyper-prepared, university-educated litigants is a subject of intense debate in 2026. Historical trends from the previous decade showed that judges were often frustrated by pro se litigants who were disorganized and ignorant of court rules. But the new wave of students coming out of these online institutions is different. They are often more organized than the attorneys. Some judges find this refreshing, as it allows them to move through their docket with greater efficiency. Others, however, perceive it as a threat to the decorum and the traditional power structure of the court. There is a documented phenomenon where some judges may hold a pro se litigant to a higher standard precisely because they appear so professional. If you look like a lawyer and act like a lawyer, the court may expect you to know the subtle local rules that aren't written in any textbook. This is where the divorce university curriculum often faces its greatest test: the local nuance. Every county in the United States has its own idiosyncratic way of doing things. In some jurisdictions, a judge might expect a specific type of font on a motion. In others, there might be a traditional sequence of who speaks first that isn't found in the state's general statutes. Case studies of university students who failed in court often point to these small procedural traps. The student might have a perfect understanding of the law, but a 0% understanding of the judge's personal preferences. To counter this, advanced divorce universities in 2026 have begun incorporating localized data. They use AI to scrape thousands of hours of recorded hearings to provide students with a judge profile, detailing a specific magistrate's historical trends in awarding alimony or their known pet peeves regarding digital evidence. Consider the financial impact of this educational shift. If Michael saves 20 hours of an attorney's time by doing his own discovery and drafting his own initial motions using university templates, he has theoretically saved $10,000. For a middle-class American in 2026, that $10,000 is the difference between a depleted savings account and a functional relocation budget for their new life. This is why the divorce university isn't just a trend. It's an economic necessity for a segment of the population that is too wealthy for legal aid, but too poor to sustain a multi-year legal war. The unbundling of services allows people to buy the expertise they need, while keeping the labor-intensive tasks for themselves. However, we must analyze the shadow side of this movement. When one party uses a divorce university to become a high-functioning litigant, and the other party does not have the same level of digital literacy or the time to devote to the coursework, a new kind of inequality emerges. It is no longer just about who has the most money for a lawyer. It is about who has the best information and the most discipline. We are seeing a shift from financial warfare to informational warfare. The potential outcome is a system where the most educated person wins, regardless of the underlying equities of the case. This leads to a profound question about the nature of justice in the digital age. Is the court a place where we find the truth, or is it a theater where the person with the best script and the most modules completed takes the prize? As Michael leaves the courtroom, having successfully navigated a temporary support hearing without a full-time attorney by his side, he feels a sense of triumph. He has used the system rather than being used by it. But the real battle is only beginning. The temporary hearing is just the opening move in a multi-stage chess match. The university has taught him how to survive the courtroom, but it has yet to reveal the complexities of the long-term settlement. What happens when the numbers on the screen don't match the reality of the assets? What happens when the scripts for communication start to fail because the other person has identified them as scripts? In the next part of our masterclass, we move from the courtroom to the counting room. We are going to explore the high-stakes world of digital asset tracing and the forensic accounting modules that are becoming the most popular feature of the divorce university. We will look at how the 2026 litigant identifies hidden cryptocurrency, offshore digital wallets, and the subtle lifestyle evidence that can break a case wide open. The university isn't just teaching you how to speak, it's teaching you how to hunt. The digital paper trail starts here. The first lesson in the university's financial forensic lab is a cold reality check. Your spouse's reported income is merely a suggestion, not a fact. In the digital economy of 2026, the traditional W-2 is often only the tip of the iceberg. The divorce university curriculum shifts its focus here from the courtroom to the counting room, teaching students how to engage in what they call shadow accounting. This isn't about illegal hacking or invasive surveillance. It is about the meticulous legal reconstruction of a lifestyle through data points that most people ignore. Imagine Michael, our student from Chicago, sitting with a specialized university workbook titled The Digital Footprint Audit. He is no longer just looking for big withdrawals. He is taught to look for the microtransactions that tell a story of a hidden life or a diverted stream of income. Step by step, The university guides Michael through a 3-year look back. This is a historical trend analysis of every financial artery in the marriage. Michael is instructed to export 3 years of data from every joint and known individual account into a master CSV file. The university provides a custom-built macro for Excel that automatically flags recurring payments to unrecognized vendors or peer-to-peer apps. In 2026, the rise of apps like Venmo, Cash App, and Zelle has made it easier than ever to move small amounts of money that add up to significant sums over time. Michael learns to look for patterns of rounded numbers. $50 here, $100 there, often labeled with vague descriptions like dinner or reimbursement. The university teaches him that these are often the breadcrumbs leading to a secondary account or a cash-heavy side hustle that was never disclosed. Consider the case study of a litigant in 2025 who used these exact university protocols to uncover $40,000 in hidden assets. The spouse had been slowly funneling money into a digital wallet by overfunding a shared PayPal account and then transferring the balance to a private, unlinked debit card. By following the university's Lesson 9, the peer-to-peer pipeline, the litigant was able to cross-reference credit card payments to PayPal with the actual purchases shown on the PayPal statements. When the numbers didn't balance, they had the evidence needed to request a formal forensic audit by a professional, but with the heavy lifting already done. This is the potential outcome of the university's approach. It doesn't replace a forensic accountant, but it provides the roadmap to tell an accountant exactly where to look, saving thousands in professional fees. The curriculum then dives into the high-stakes world of cryptocurrency and Web3 assets. In 2026, crypto is no longer a niche interest. For many American families, it represents a substantial portion of their net worth. However, it is also the easiest asset to hide. The Divorce University offers a specialized module on the crypto hunt. Students are taught how to scan home computers and shared devices for specific software signatures, like browser-based wallets or hardware wallet drivers. Michael is taught to look through years of emails for keywords like confirmation, seed phrase, or exchange. He isn't looking for the coins themselves. He is looking for the gatekeepers, the exchanges like Coinbase or Kraken where the fiat currency first entered the digital ecosystem. The university explains the historical trends of judicial responses to digital assets. In 2026, judges are increasingly willing to issue orders for the disclosure of private keys or the freezing of exchange accounts if a prima facie case of asset hiding can be made. Michael learns how to build that case by documenting the initial transfer of funds from the marital bank account to the crypto exchange. The university provides him with a template for a request for production of documents that specifically targets digital asset history, including staking rewards and NFT holdings, which are often overlooked in traditional discovery. By treating this as a structured academic exercise, Michael remains calm and methodical, avoiding the emotional outbursts that often lead a spouse to delete or move assets before they can be documented. Beyond the numbers, the university emphasizes the lifestyle versus ledger analysis. This is a psychological and financial deep dive into the gap between what a spouse says they earn and how they actually live. Imagine if a spouse claims an annual income of $80,000, yet social media posts show 3 international vacations in a single year, a new high-end vehicle, and frequent luxury dining. The university teaches Michael how to perform a digital canvas. He learns how to archive social media posts, stories, and even LinkedIn activity to create a timeline of expenditures. This is then cross-referenced with the reported income. If the lifestyle costs $200,000 but the income is $80,000, the university provides the step-by-step details on how to present this discrepancy to the court as evidence of undisclosed income or the dissipation of marital assets. The concept of dissipation is a major focus in the advanced financial modules. This refers to the use of marital funds for a purpose unrelated to the marriage at a time when the marriage is undergoing an irreconcilable breakdown. Examples include spending money on a new romantic interest, gambling, or excessive personal shopping. The university's dissipation calculator helps Michael categorize every expense from the date the marriage began to fail. He is taught to look for restaurant receipts for 2 when he was home alone, or hotel stays in cities his spouse never visited for work. By organizing this data into a clear, chronological report, Michael prepares himself for a settlement negotiation where he can demand a credit for the marital funds that were wrongfully spent. The university also addresses the psychological warfare of the financial split. There is a module dedicated to the financial narcissist, a spouse who uses money as a tool of control. Michael is taught how to identify the signs of financial abuse and how to secure his own financial future without triggering an aggressive response that could lead to the freezing of his own access to funds. He learns the importance of establishing a separate credit identity and the historical trends of how courts protect the lower-earning spouse during the pendency of a divorce. This isn't just about getting more. It is about preventing a total financial collapse during the transition. As Michael masters these forensic tools, he begins to see his marriage not as a failure of the heart, but as a complex financial merger that is now being liquidated. This detachment is exactly what the Divorce University aims to achieve. By turning the emotional trauma into a series of data entry tasks and investigative challenges, the platform keeps the student engaged and productive. Michael feels like a detective in his own life, piecing together a puzzle that will define his financial reality for the next 20 years. He is no longer waiting for his lawyer to find the truth. He is delivering the truth to his lawyer on a silver platter, or more accurately, in a perfectly formatted digital folder. But what happens when the digital trail leads to something far more complex than a hidden bank account? What happens when the investigation reveals a web of corporate entities, offshore trusts, or intellectual property rights that are buried deep within a family business? The university has a module for that too, but it comes with a warning. We are approaching the limit of what a DIY education can provide. In the next part of our masterclass, we are going to look at the business of divorce. We will explore how online universities teach students to value a small business, how they handle the complexities of stock options and restricted stock units, and the moment when Michael must decide if he needs to bring in the heavy hitters. The hunt for assets is about to get much more sophisticated as we analyze the intersection of entrepreneurship and marital dissolution in the modern age. The stakes are rising, and the next lesson is the most expensive one yet. In the specialized realm of the Divorce University, the Business of Divorce module is often regarded as the graduate-level residency. This is where the curriculum transitions from simple asset tracking to the high-stakes world of business valuation and executive compensation. In the American economy of 2026, where the line between personal brand and corporate entity is increasingly blurred, this is where the largest financial swings occur. Imagine Michael sitting in his home office, his screen glowing with a complex spreadsheet titled Enterprise versus Personal Goodwill. The university has taught him that if his spouse, Emily, owns a consultancy, the value of that business might not be found in its bank balance, but in her reputation. However, the university also teaches a critical distinction: personal goodwill, the value tied specifically to Emily's individual skills, is often not a marital asset in many U.S. jurisdictions, whereas enterprise goodwill, the value of the brand and systems, is. Michael is instructed to perform a step-by-step deconstruction of Emily's business. The university provides a checklist for the 3 pillars of valuation. First is the asset-based approach, which is the floor of the valuation. Michael lists every laptop, every piece of software, and every desk. Second is the market approach, where he is taught to look for historical trends of what similar small businesses have sold for in the Illinois area over the last 24 months. But the real deep dive happens in the third pillar, the income approach. Here, the university teaches Michael how to calculate the capitalization of earnings. He isn't just looking at the profit Emily made last year. He is looking at the potential outcomes of that profit continuing for the next 5 to 10 years, adjusted for risk. The university provides Michael with the template to analyze Emily's K-1 tax forms and her Schedule C. He is taught to look for what forensic accountants call add-backs. These are personal expenses that Emily might have run through the business to lower her taxable income. Things like a personal vehicle, home internet, or travel that was only tangentially related to work. By identifying these and adding them back into the profit margin, Michael creates a more accurate picture of the true earning power of the business. This is a meticulous process that requires Michael to cross-reference business credit card statements with Emily's professional calendar. The university's module on digital forensics for entrepreneurs teaches him how to use AI-driven tools to categorize these expenses with 80% accuracy before he even talks to a professional. But the complexity scales exponentially when we look at executive compensation in 2026. Many American professionals no longer receive just a salary. They receive a mix of RSUs, restricted stock units, and performance-based stock options. The university introduces Michael to the concept of the vesting schedule trap. In a contemporary case study provided by the course, a litigant assumed that because their spouse was granted $100,000 in stock during the marriage, that full amount was a marital asset. However, the university explains that if those stocks don't vest, meaning they aren't fully owned, until 3 years after the divorce is finalized, a significant portion might be considered separate property. Michael learns how to apply the time rule, or the commingling formula. This is a mathematical equation used to determine what percentage of a stock grant belongs to the marriage based on how much of the vesting period occurred while they were married. Step by step, Michael plots Emily's grant dates against their date of marriage and their projected date of separation. He uses the university's RSU calculator to project the potential outcomes of the stock's value based on current market volatility and historical trends of the company's performance. This allows Michael to enter a negotiation not just with a demand for money, but with a data-backed argument about the future value of those shares. The curriculum then moves into the dangerous waters of the buy-sell agreement. Many partnerships and small businesses have internal contracts that dictate how much a share of a company is worth if a partner leaves or gets divorced. The university warns Michael that these numbers are often artificially low to protect the company. He is taught how to look for historical trends where courts have thrown out these internal valuations in favor of a fair market value. Imagine the tension as Michael realizes that Emily's business agreement claims her share is worth only $50,000, but his university-led valuation, based on her actual cash flow, suggests it is worth $300,000. This $250,000 gap is the battleground. To prepare for this, the university teaches Michael the art of the financial neutral. This is a strategy where both parties agree to hire one expert to value the business, rather than each hiring their own and having a battle of the experts in court. The university provides Michael with a script on how to propose this to Emily, framing it as a cost-saving measure for both of them. This is the sophisticated educational approach that the divorce university prides itself on, using logic and financial literacy to bypass the high-conflict, high-cost traditional legal path. However, there is a hidden layer to this module: the discovery of what the university calls the shadow business. In the year 2026, side hustles, digital storefronts, and influencer accounts are common. Michael is taught how to scan for secondary EINs, employer identification numbers, that might be registered in Emily's name. He learns how to use specialized search engines to find domain names she might have purchased or trademarks she might have filed. The university explains that in a contemporary American divorce, a neglected YouTube channel or a dormant Etsy shop could have intellectual property value that needs to be accounted for. Consider a case study from 2025 where a stay-at-home parent discovered their spouse had been building a software-as-a-service platform in their spare time. Because the parent had used the university's intellectual property audit, they were able to secure a percentage of the future royalties of that software, a potential outcome that would have been completely missed in a traditional, rushed discovery process. This is the depth that these online platforms provide. They turn the student into a forensic researcher who understands the modern economy better than many general practice divorce attorneys. The final section of the Business of Divorce module focuses on the QDRO, the Qualified Domestic Relations Order. This is the legal instrument used to divide retirement accounts without triggering massive tax penalties or early withdrawal fees. In 2026, the administrative cost of a QDRO has risen, and the university teaches Michael how to draft the preliminary instructions for the QDRO administrator himself. By understanding the specific language required by Emily's 401k or pension provider, Michael ensures that the division of these complex assets is handled with surgical precision. He isn't just learning how to split the money, he is learning how to protect that money from the IRS during the split. As Michael closes his laptop for the night, he feels a strange mix of exhaustion and empowerment. He has spent 60 hours over the last month becoming a junior-level forensic accountant. He knows more about Emily's business than she does. He has identified the add-backs, calculated the vesting schedules, and mapped out the QDRO requirements. The divorce university has successfully transformed a period of personal crisis into a high-intensity professional development course. But as he looks at the mountain of data he has collected, a new and more chilling module appears on his dashboard: the psychology of the digital war. He has the data, but does he have the stomach for what comes next? The university has taught him how to find the money, but it is about to teach him something much more controversial: how to weaponize that data in a negotiation without crossing the line into legal or emotional harassment. What happens when the education in strategy turns into an education in leverage? We are about to enter the most controversial phase of the online divorce university: the masterclass in high-stakes negotiation and the psychological tactics used to force a settlement. The numbers are clear, but the human element is about to get very, very messy. The negotiation phase of the divorce university curriculum is where the clinical data of forensic accounting meets the high-pressure psychology of human behavior. In the year 2026, this is facilitated by what the industry calls negotiation simulators. Imagine Michael sitting in his office, but instead of looking at a spreadsheet, he is engaging with a sophisticated large language model specifically trained on thousands of hours of successful mediation transcripts. This AI persona is programmed to mimic Emily's known communication style, which Michael categorized weeks ago during the behavioral assessment module. He isn't just practicing what to say, he is practicing how to stay regulated when the AI, acting as Emily, throws a curveball about his past parenting or his financial contributions. This is the emotional firewall in action. The university teaches that the first person to lose their temper in a negotiation is the first person to lose their leverage. The core strategy taught in this 2026 masterclass is the concept of psychological anchoring. This is a well-documented cognitive bias where the first number or condition placed on the table sets the boundaries for the entire discussion. The university provides Michael with a step-by-step detail on how to set a strategic anchor. Instead of waiting for Emily's attorney to make a demand, Michael is instructed to submit a comprehensive settlement proposal 48 hours before their first mediation session. This proposal isn't a lowball offer. It is a hyper-detailed document that uses the very data Michael spent months collecting. By being the first to define the value of the business, the categorization of the RSUs, and the offset for the add-backs, Michael forces the opposition to argue against his reality rather than creating their own. Historical trends in American family law show that nearly 95% of cases settle before trial. The divorce university exploits this statistic by teaching the student to treat the negotiation as a game of chicken where the person with the best data and the most patience usually wins. Michael is introduced to the concept of the BATNA, the best alternative to a negotiated agreement. The university's BATNA calculator allows Michael to input the exact costs of going to trial, the $25,000 in additional legal fees, the potential outcome of a 12-month delay, and the risk of a judge who might not understand the complexities of their digital assets. By knowing his walk-away number with mathematical certainty, Michael can negotiate with a level of confidence that is often mistaken for aggression by the other side. It isn't aggression. It is simply a lack of desperation. Consider the case study of a 2025 Nashville settlement, where a university student used the information drip technique. This involves holding back one or two significant pieces of evidence, such as a specific hidden account or a documented dissipation of funds, and dripping them into the negotiation only when the other side becomes recalcitrant. When the Nashville spouse refused to concede on the equity of the home, the student calmly presented a spreadsheet showing $8,000 in personal travel expenses that had been labeled as business meetings. The sudden realization that the student had more information than they admitted created an immediate shift in the power dynamic. The university teaches Michael that information is a currency that loses its value if spent all at once. It must be traded for specific concessions. Another advanced tactic in the 2026 curriculum is the flinch. When Emily's side makes a counteroffer, even if it is a reasonable one, Michael is taught to flinch, to express a measured, data-backed surprise that the offer is so far outside the realm of the judicial historical trends he has studied. He doesn't get angry. He simply refers to his tablet of trends, a digital tool provided by the university that aggregates recent settlement data from Cook County. He can show in real time that their offer on alimony is 2 standard deviations away from the local norm. This shifts the argument from what I want to what the data says, making it much harder for the opposing counsel to maintain an emotional or unreasonable stance without appearing incompetent to their own client. The university also dives deep into the psychology of time decay. In many contemporary American divorces, one party is in a greater hurry to finalize the split. Perhaps they want to buy a new home, start a new relationship, or simply end the emotional drain. The university teaches Michael how to identify who is the hurrying party. If Emily is the one who wants it over quickly, time is Michael's greatest ally. He is taught how to use strategic delays, taking the full allotted time to respond to requests for production, or scheduling mediation sessions 3 weeks out rather than 3 days. This is not about being petty. It is about increasing the emotional cost of the conflict for the other party until they are willing to trade financial assets for a faster resolution. It is a cold, calculated application of game theory to a human tragedy. But what about the prisoner's dilemma in divorce? The university explains that if both Michael and Emily cooperate, They both keep more of the marital estate. If one betrays the other by being aggressive, they might get more, but the legal fees will eat up the gains. If both are aggressive, they both lose everything to the attorneys. Michael's goal, as taught by the masterclass, is to signal a tit-for-tat strategy. He starts with a fair, cooperative offer. If Emily responds with a high-conflict move, he immediately responds with a high-stakes data disclosure or a formal motion. Once she moves back toward cooperation, he does as well. This teaches the other side that high-conflict behavior will be met with immediate, expensive resistance, while cooperation will be rewarded with progress. The step-by-step details for the final closing session are perhaps the most intensive. Michael is taught how to draft a memorandum of understanding on the spot. He learns that the hours immediately following a successful mediation are the most dangerous. This is when buyer's remorse sets in and people try to walk back their concessions. The university provides Michael with a digital template that he can populate in real time on his tablet. Before he leaves the room, he ensures that both parties and the mediator sign a basic outline of the agreement. This lock-in protocol is designed to prevent the midnight email from an attorney trying to renegotiate a deal that was already struck. As the negotiation modules conclude, Michael has transitioned from a student of finance to a master of strategic influence. He understands the anchors, the drips, the flinches, and the time decays. He has used the AI simulator to dull his emotional triggers and the data tools to sharpen his arguments. He is ready to sign the papers that will end his marriage and begin his future. But there is one final, towering obstacle that no spreadsheet can fully quantify. And it is the one area where even the most sophisticated AI struggles to provide a perfect script. What happens when the negotiation isn't about money or businesses but about people? What happens when the assets are children? In the next part of our masterclass, we are entering the most heart-wrenching and complex territory of the divorce university: the custody curriculum and the rise of the parenting plan architect. We will analyze how 2026 parents are using child-centric data and behavioral tracking to argue for parenting time. We will explore the controversial standard of care audits and how the digital trail of a parent's life is being used to define their fitness in the eyes of the court. The high-stakes financial war was just the warm-up for the battle over the next generation. The script is about to get personal. The shift from financial forensic analysis to the custody curriculum represents the most psychologically taxing transition in the online divorce university. In the American legal landscape of 2026, the term visitation has been largely discarded by the sophisticated litigant in favor of parenting time and residential responsibility. For Michael, this module is not about winning an asset. It is about securing a legacy. The university introduces him to the parenting plan architect, a sophisticated digital interface that replaces the vague, one-page custody agreements of the past with a 60-page, data-driven logistical blueprint. This tool allows Michael to map out the next 10 years of his children's lives, including school districts, extracurricular schedules, holiday rotations, and the highly specific right of first refusal clauses that are essential in 2026. Step by step, the university guides Michael through the creation of a child-centric schedule. He is taught to analyze historical trends in his specific jurisdiction regarding the transition from a traditional every other weekend model to a true 50-50 shared parenting arrangement. The architect tool requires Michael to input the children's school start times, the average commute between his new residence and Emily's home, and the specific locations of soccer practices and music lessons. By presenting a plan that is logistically bulletproof, Michael is signaling to the court that he is not just seeking time, but that he has already solved the administrative challenges of co-parenting. The potential outcome of this preparation is a significant reduction in judicial skepticism, as the court prefers plans that minimize future conflict and parental interaction during exchanges. A core component of this part of the curriculum is the app-based evidence loop. In 2026, many family court judges in the United States mandate the use of co-parenting communication platforms like Our Family Wizard or Talking Parents. The Divorce University treats these apps not as communication tools, but as primary data sources for litigation. Michael is introduced to the Conflict Analyzer, a module that teaches him how to export years of message history into a spreadsheet to identify patterns of obstruction. For example, if Emily has historically denied Michael's requests for extra time for family events on 15 separate occasions, while Michael has granted all of hers, the university teaches him how to visualize this data in a chart. This turns a vague feeling of being treated unfairly into a statistical reality of gatekeeping behavior that a judge can easily digest. Michael also learns the yellow light protocol for digital communication. This is a step-by-step communication strategy designed to ensure that every message he sends is trial-ready. The university teaches him to wait exactly 24 hours before responding to any message that contains an emotional trigger. He is taught to use the BIF method: brief, informative, firm, and friendly, but with a 2026 update that focuses on searchability. He learns to include keywords in his messages like child's health, educational support, and school schedule so that when his attorney or the judge searches the message logs, Michael's proactive parenting is immediately apparent. He is essentially learning to curate a digital persona of the perfect, cooperative parent, regardless of the underlying emotional turmoil. The university then moves into the controversial territory of the standard of care audit. This is a 100-point physical and digital inspection of Michael's life. Michael is instructed to perform a walkthrough of his new apartment with a checklist provided by the university. It includes specific requirements for the children's rooms. Do they have dedicated study areas, age-appropriate books, and a secure, monitored digital environment? In 2026, the digital safety of children is a high-stakes topic in custody disputes. Michael learns to install and document the use of parental control software, demonstrating his commitment to protecting the children from the risks of contemporary internet culture. This audit is not just for his own peace of mind. It is a defensive measure. If Emily's side attempts to portray him as a disinterested or ill-equipped parent, Michael has a time-stamped photographic record of his prepared home environment ready to be entered into evidence. Furthermore, the curriculum addresses the concept of the primary caretaker analysis. Michael is taught to document his daily involvement in the children's lives using an involvement tracker. Step by step, he logs every doctor's appointment he attended, every teacher conference he joined via video call, and every evening spent helping with homework. Case studies from recent years show that fathers who can prove a high level of daily involvement are far more likely to secure equal parenting time in contested cases. The university teaches Michael to collect corroborating evidence, such as emails from teachers or sign-in sheets from sports practices, to ensure his claims are not dismissed as mere assertions. This is the transformation of fatherhood into a verifiable data set. The linguistic reframing module is perhaps the most subtle yet powerful part of the custody curriculum. Michael is taught to perform a complete vocabulary shift in all court documents and mediation sessions. He is instructed to never use the words "my children" or "I want." Instead, he learns to use phrases like the children's need for continuity and Leo and Ava's best interests. By consistently centering the conversation on the children's developmental needs, Michael aligns himself with the legal standard used by judges across the United States. He is taught to speak the language of child psychology, referencing the importance of a secure attachment to both parents and the harmful effects of high-conflict environments on a child's neurological development. This makes it incredibly difficult for the opposing party to argue against him without appearing to be the one who is self-centered or obstructive. To provide additional depth, the university explores the historical trends of the transition to the 2026 legal standards. 10 years ago, the burden of proof often sat with the non-primary parent to justify why they should have more time. Today, the trend in many states is a rebuttable presumption of equal parenting time. The university teaches Michael how to leverage this presumption. If Emily wants more than 50% of the time, she must prove Michael is unfit. Michael is taught how to build a defensive wall against such accusations by maintaining a clean, documented record of his conduct. He is warned against what the university calls digital spillage: social media posts, late-night texts, or even GPS data from his phone that could suggest a lifestyle inconsistent with a primary caregiver. Imagine Michael sitting in his study, reviewing a case study of a parent in Seattle who lost significant parenting time because they failed to document their child's specific medical needs. Michael realizes that his knowledge of the children's lives must be granular. He begins to study the names of their teachers, their specific allergy medications, and the dates of their upcoming school projects with the same intensity he applied to the business valuation module. The university has taught him that in a 2026 custody battle, the most informed parent is the one who is perceived as the most fit. He is no longer just a father. He is a parenting professional. As Michael masters the logs, the filters, and the architectural plans for his children's future, he feels a sense of control that he hasn't felt since the divorce began. He has a plan, he has the data, and he has the vocabulary. But as he prepares to finalize his parenting plan architect document, the university dashboard flashes a warning for the next, most dangerous module. It is a topic that can undo months of careful preparation in a single hearing. We are moving into the dark art of the custody battle, the parental alienation audit and the battle for the child's mind. What happens when the data shows that the children are being coached or turned against a parent? What are the historical trends of how judges react when one parent attempts to erase the other from the child's life? The next part of our masterclass explores the psychological warfare that takes place in the shadows of the digital classroom. The stakes have never been higher. The parental alienation audit is the module that most students of a divorce university hope they never have to unlock. Yet it is arguably the most vital section for any parent navigating a high-conflict separation in 2026. In the contemporary American legal landscape, the term alienation is no longer just a buzzword used in heated arguments. It has been codified through data-driven observation. The university teaches Michael that if he suspects his children are being turned against him, he must stop being an emotional participant and start being a clinical observer. This module introduces a tool called the Behavioral Divergence Tracker. This isn't about tracking the other parent. It is about tracking the child's shift in language, attitude, and memory. Michael is instructed to perform a step-by-step linguistic analysis of his son Leo's conversations. Imagine if Michael is playing a video game with Leo, and suddenly the 8-year-old stops and says, "I know you are only playing this with me because you want to make mom look bad for not buying me the new console." To the untrained ear, this is just a hurtful comment from a frustrated child. But to a student of the divorce university, this is a red flag for adultification, the process where a child is forced into the middle of adult conflicts. The university provides Michael with a comparison chart, the child's natural vocabulary versus adult-sourced rhetoric. If Leo is using phrases like financial instability, abandonment, or legal custody, the university teaches Michael how to document these instances without interrogating the child. The potential outcome of this documentation is not to punish the child, but to provide the court with a clear timeline of how adult conflict is being funneled through a minor. The step-by-step details of the alienation audit involve a 50-point checklist categorized into 3 tiers: mild, moderate, and severe interference. Mild interference includes things like the other parent forgetting to share school photos, or failing to inform Michael about a last-minute doctor's appointment. Moderate interference involves the systematic scheduling of extracurricular activities during Michael's parenting time, or the just-in-time sickness where a child is suddenly too ill to visit exactly when Michael arrives for pickup. Severe interference is the territory of false allegations and the total erasure of a parent's history from the home. Michael is taught to use the digital interference log to timestamp these events. In 2026, many U.S. courts are moving toward a zero-tolerance policy for documented interference, and having a spreadsheet that shows 15 missed FaceTime calls over a 30-day period is far more persuasive than an emotional testimony about feeling left out. Consider the case study of a mother in Colorado who used these exact university protocols in 2025. She noticed her daughter was increasingly anxious before transitions. Instead of accusing the father of coaching the child, she used the university's transition observation template. She documented that the child arrived with a backpack full of reminders from the other house that she wasn't allowed to have fun at mom's because mom was the reason the family was broken. By presenting this data to a court-appointed child representative, she was able to secure an order for reunification therapy before the bond was permanently severed. Historical trends show that early intervention is the only way to prevent a total breakdown of the parent-child relationship, and the university focuses on identifying these microaggressions before they become a macro-crisis. The university also prepares Michael for the counteraccusation strategy. In high-conflict cases, if Michael brings up alienation, the other parent may counteraccuse him of the same thing. To defend against this, the university teaches Michael the concept of the reflective parenting statement. This is a step-by-step exercise where Michael writes down his understanding of Leo and Ava's internal worlds. What are their fears? What are their favorite subjects? Who are their best friends? The university teaches that a parent who is truly alienated from their child will struggle to answer these questions, while a parent who is being falsely accused of alienation will have a deep, documented knowledge of their children's lives. Michael learns to maintain a digital portfolio of his parenting: photos of homework help, videos of bedtime stories, and logs of school volunteer hours. This portfolio acts as a shield against the narrative that he is a distant or disinterested father. Furthermore, the curriculum dives into the psychology of the rehearsed statement. In 2026, forensic evaluators are trained to look for children who speak in scripted blocks. Michael is taught how to recognize if Leo is repeating a narrative rather than sharing a memory. The university provides a script for Michael to use when these moments occur, not to challenge the child, but to offer a safe alternative reality. Instead of saying, "Your mom is lying," Michael is taught to say, "It sounds like you've heard a lot of grown-up talk. My door is always open if you ever want to talk about how you feel." This is the de-escalation protocol. It protects Michael from being accused of coaching the child, while simultaneously signaling to Leo that Michael is a safe harbor. A particularly sophisticated tool in the 2026 toolkit is the judicial trend map for alienation. The university provides data on how specific judges in the Chicago area have ruled on alienation cases in the past. Do they favor immediate custody shifts? Do they prefer therapeutic intervention? Do they require a third-party monitor for exchanges? By understanding the historical trends of his specific judge, Michael can tailor his legal strategy. If his judge is known to be skeptical of the alienation label, Michael is taught to avoid the word entirely and instead focus on the specific behaviors: interference with communication, disparagement in front of the children, and the withholding of medical information. This is the art of winning the argument without ever naming the enemy. The university then addresses the most painful part of the module: the waiting room. This section is for parents whose children have already stopped speaking to them. It is a psychological masterclass in long-term resilience. Michael is taught the methodology of the lighthouse parent. A lighthouse doesn't chase the boat. It stays in one place and keeps its light on so the boat can find its way home. He learns how to send consistent, non-pressure messages. "I love you, I'm thinking of you, I hope you had a great game today." No questions, no demands for responses. The university explains that in 2026, these messages are often blocked or intercepted, but the digital record of them being sent is a vital piece of evidence for a future reunification case. It proves that Michael never gave up on his children, even when the system failed to protect the bond. Imagine Michael sitting in his living room, looking at the empty chairs where his children should be. The weight of the conflict is immense, but the university reminds him that this is a marathon, not a sprint. He has the data logs, the linguistic analysis, the historical trends, and the psychological de-escalation tools. He is no longer a victim of a narrative. He is the curator of the truth. He understands that the battle for the child's mind is won not through force, but through a persistent, documented, and calm presence. As Michael closes this module, he feels a sense of grim determination. He has navigated the financial audits, the business valuations, the high-stakes negotiations, and now the psychological warfare of custody. He has transformed his life into a series of academic modules, and he is nearing the end of his degree in dissolution. But there is one final piece of the puzzle that many students forget until it is too late. It is the moment when the decree is signed and the university doors close. What happens when the legal battle ends, but the cultural and personal identity crisis begins? In the next part of our masterclass, we explore the post-decree identity and the business of starting over. We will look at how the 2026 American culture views the graduate of divorce and the specific data-driven strategies for rebuilding a personal brand, a social network, and a financial future from the ground up. The court case is ending, but the lifelong curriculum of the new self is just beginning. We go from the end of a marriage to the birth of an individual next. The transition from being a litigant to being an individual is the most overlooked phase of the contemporary divorce process, and the Divorce University addresses this through a high-intensity module known as the Post-Decree Integration Strategy. In the United States of 2026, the moment a judge signs a final judgment for dissolution of marriage, the legal system considers the job done. However, for Michael, sitting in his new, albeit smaller, apartment in Chicago, the administrative and psychological workload is actually entering a new period of peak demand. The university identifies this as the Day Zero Protocol. It is a 72-point checklist designed to decouple a life that has been digitally, financially, and socially entwined for over a decade. This is not about healing. It is about the clinical execution of a new identity. Step by step, Michael begins with the digital keychain migration. In 2026, the average American household has over 100 shared digital touchpoints. Michael is taught to perform a deep scan of his devices using the university's security audit tool. This involves more than just changing a Netflix password. He must systematically remove Emily's access from the smart home ecosystem, the Nest thermostat, the Ring doorbell, and even the smart refrigerator that might still be syncing a shared grocery list. Historical trends in 2026 show that digital stalking through forgotten shared apps is a primary source of post-divorce conflict. Michael follows the module instructions to reset his two-factor authentication using a new, secure individual recovery email that was never associated with the marriage. This creates a digital perimeter that is essential for his mental health and his privacy. Next, Michael moves into the financial phoenix phase. The university provides a historical trend analysis of credit score volatility after a divorce. Many Americans see a significant dip in their credit rating due to the closing of long-held joint accounts or the uneven distribution of debt. Michael is taught how to execute a credit rebuilding roadmap. Step 1 involves the formal notification of all 3 major credit bureaus with his new decree in hand to ensure that no further joint liabilities can be opened in his name. He is then instructed to open 2 new, individual lines of credit with low limits to begin establishing a fresh repayment history. The university provides case studies of graduates who, by following this method, were able to return to their pre-divorce credit scores within 18 months, allowing them to qualify for individual mortgages in the competitive 2026 housing market. The curriculum then shifts to the social network audit, a process that is often brutal but necessary. The university teaches Michael how to categorize his entire social circle into 3 tiers: the core, the bridge, and the leak. The core are his individual friends who have no loyalty to Emily. The bridge are mutual friends who can maintain a neutral stance. The leak are those individuals who, intentionally or not, relay information back to the former spouse. Michael is taught a specific communication script for the bridge. He doesn't ask them to choose sides. Instead, he sets a firm boundary. I value our friendship, but I will not be discussing the details of my divorce or Emily with you. This proactive boundary setting is a hallmark of the university's professional individual persona. It prevents Michael from falling into the victim loop that characterizes so many failed post-divorce transitions. Imagine Michael attending his first professional networking event as a single man. The university has a module for this: the professional brand pivot. In 2026, a divorce can still carry a subtle, unconscious bias in certain corporate environments where stability is highly valued. Michael is taught how to update his LinkedIn and internal company profile to reflect a focus on his new career trajectory without referencing his personal life. He learns the narrative reframing technique. When asked how he is doing, he doesn't mention the settlement or the custody schedule. He says, "I'm in a period of high growth and focus right now, taking on some new certifications and expanding my department's reach." This shifts the perception from Michael is going through a hard time to Michael is a high performer with a lot of capacity. The financial depth of this graduate phase involves the solo wealth management curriculum. Michael no longer has the safety net of a dual-income household. The university provides him with a 2026 solo living budget, which factors in the increased costs of individual insurance, the lack of bulk buying power, and the specific tax implications of his new filing status. He is taught how to manage his relocation fund from the previous module to ensure it isn't drained by emotional spending. The common tendency to overfurnish a new home as a way of proving one is doing well. Instead, Michael is instructed to follow the tiered reentry method, buying only the essentials for the first 6 months while maximizing his contributions to his individual 401k to offset the assets he lost in the split. We must also analyze the case study of Sarah, a 2025 graduate from Seattle, who represents the shadow side of the post-decree life. Sarah failed to exit the university's conflict forums. She became what the instructors call a litigation junkie, constantly checking her ex-husband's social media for contempt of court violations. The university uses Sarah's story as a warning. They teach that the true potential outcome of the divorce university is not to become a permanent expert in divorce, but to become an expert in your own future. Michael is taught to set a sunsetting date, a specific day on his calendar, usually 6 months post-decree, where he deletes the forensic spreadsheets, archives the legal emails, and officially graduates from the mindset of a litigant. The physical health component of this module is handled with clinical precision. Historical trends show that the 12 months following a divorce are the highest risk period for stress-related illnesses in American men. The university mandates a health reset audit. Michael is instructed to schedule a full physical, a dental checkup, and a vision test, tasks that were often neglected during the multi-year legal war. He is taught to use wearable technology to track his resting heart rate and sleep quality, using the data to identify when the post-adrenaline crash is occurring. When his body finally realizes it is no longer in a state of high alert, Michael is prepared for the fatigue that follows. He has a step-by-step detail for his recovery year, which includes a focused nutrition and exercise plan designed to rebuild the physical resilience he sacrificed in the courtroom. As Michael stands in his new kitchen, drinking coffee from a cup he bought himself, he realizes that the university didn't just teach him how to leave a marriage, it taught him how to build a man. He has a clean digital perimeter, a rebuilding credit score, a vetted social circle, and a professional brand that is stronger than ever. He is the CEO of a company of one. He has transitioned from the we to the I with the same level of data-driven strategy he used to track hidden crypto assets. He is no longer a student of the past. He is the architect of a 2026 individual life. But as he looks out over the Chicago skyline, a final looming question remains. What does the rise of this university model mean for the future of American society? Are we creating a more empowered citizenry? Or are we simply becoming a nation of hyper-litigious, data-driven individuals who have forgotten how to resolve conflict without a spreadsheet? In the final part of our masterclass, we are going to look at the global impact and the future of human connection. We will analyze the big picture data of the 2026 divorce industry and ask the ultimate question. After you've learned everything the university has to teach, is it ever possible to trust another person enough to do it all over again? We conclude the deep dive with the future of the American family next. As Michael looks out over the morning fog rolling across Lake Michigan, he is no longer the same man who clicked on that first targeted advertisement 6 months ago. He is a graduate of a system that has fundamentally rewired his perception of human intimacy. In the contemporary American culture of 2026, the rise of the divorce university has created a new sociological archetype, the hyperrational single. We are witnessing a historical trend where the emotional fallout of a breakup is being systematically replaced by a technical postmortem. Michael doesn't just feel sad. He feels deconstructed. He understands the mechanics of his failure so clearly that the prospect of future vulnerability feels like a calculated risk with a known failure rate. This is the ultimate potential outcome of the democratization of legal and psychological expertise. We have traded the mystery of the heart for the clarity of the spreadsheet. The impact on the American legal industry by the year 2026 is nothing short of revolutionary. Case studies from major metropolitan hubs like New York, Los Angeles, and Chicago suggest that traditional family law firms are seeing a 40% decline in billable hours for standard dissolution cases. The reason is simple. The divorce university has moved the labor from the professional to the consumer. This unbundling of the legal system has forced a massive pivot in how law is practiced. We are seeing the rise of the legal auditor, attorneys who no longer litigate, but instead provide a final seal of approval on the work already completed by university-educated litigants. For the American public, this represents a significant win in terms of financial preservation. For the judicial system, it represents a streamlining of the docket. But for the culture at large, it marks the end of the lawyer as a counselor and the beginning of the lawyer as a technical clerk. Imagine a new character, Sarah, a 32-year-old software engineer who is entering her second marriage in late 2026. Because she grew up in the era of the divorce university, her approach to marriage is informed by the data of its dissolution. She doesn't just want a wedding. She wants a prenuptial masterclass. This is the next frontier of the industry. These online platforms are now offering pre-matrimonial curricula. Before Sarah says I do, she and her partner must complete a 12-module course on asset commingling, conflict de-escalation, and the mathematical modeling of future parenting roles. They are using the tools of divorce to bulletproof their marriage. Historical trends suggest that couples who engage in this level of high-stakes transparency are showing a 20% increase in long-term stability. However, critics argue that this approach leaches the romance out of the union, turning a sacred bond into a high-performance contract. The broader cultural shift is the commodification of the healing process. In 2026, the divorce university model has expanded into what experts call the life transition marketplace. Everything is a curriculum now. There is a university for grief, a university for career pivots, and a university for aging. This reflects a contemporary American obsession with optimization. We are a culture that believes any problem, no matter how deeply personal or painful, can be solved if broken down into a series of actionable steps and video lessons. For Michael, this meant that his pain was never allowed to be messy. It was always being channeled into a task. While this prevented a total breakdown, it also delayed his genuine emotional processing. He became an expert in the logistics of his divorce, but a novice in the reality of his loneliness. We must also analyze the data on the digital divide. that these universities have created. In 2026, there is a growing gap between the educationally empowered and those who still rely on the traditional, high-cost legal model. The potential outcome is a two-tiered system of justice. One class of citizens can navigate their personal crises with surgical precision and minimal financial loss, while another class is left to be consumed by the billable hours of a predatory industry. The divorce university, while appearing to be a great equalizer, actually rewards a specific type of digital literacy and cognitive discipline that is not universal. This raises profound questions about the future of equity in American domestic relations. Is justice only for those who can pass the course? As we look toward 2027 and beyond, the influence of these platforms will likely lead to the algorithmic decree. We are already seeing experimental programs in some U.S. jurisdictions where AI-driven mediators, trained on the same datasets as the divorce university, are being used to settle small claims family disputes in under 60 minutes. For Michael, this future feels inevitable. He has seen the power of the data. He knows that most human conflicts follow a predictable pattern. He has learned that 80% of arguments are about the same 5 things: money, kids, sex, work, and in-laws. By quantifying these conflicts, the divorce university has taken the shock out of the system. But what of the human connection? Michael goes on his first date since the decree. He finds himself subconsciously running a standard of care audit on the woman sitting across from him. He notices her digital footprint, her communication style, and her financial literacy. He is using the weapons he forged in the university to protect himself from future harm. This is the paradox of the divorce university. It makes you a better litigant but a more guarded human. The historical trend of 2026 is a move toward fortress individualism. We are all becoming highly informed, hyper-protected islands, connected by perfectly drafted agreements and secure digital handshakes. The legacy of this movement will be defined by how we choose to use this new power. If the divorce university is merely a tool for better warfare, then we have only succeeded in making our tragedies more efficient. But if it can be a tool for radical transparency and the reduction of human suffering, then it may be the most important cultural innovation of the decade. Michael finishes his coffee and closes his laptop. His binders are stored away. His accounts are separated. His parenting plan is active. He is a success story of the digital age. He has survived the storm not by fighting the wind, but by studying the physics of the gale. This deep dive has explored the mechanics, the marketing, the math, and the psychological warfare of the modern American divorce. We have seen how a crisis can be transformed into a curriculum and how a litigant can be transformed into a master. As we conclude this masterclass, we are left with a final open loop. The tools of the divorce university are now being applied to the very beginning of relationships. We are entering the era of the vetted marriage and the data-backed union. But in a world where every risk is calculated and every outcome is projected, is there still room for the leap of faith? In our next deep dive series, we shift our focus from how we fall apart to how we are being rebuilt. We are analyzing the rise of the automated affection industry and the 2026 trend of AI-integrated dating. Is the next step in our evolution a university that teaches us how to love, or have we already learned too much? The data is coming in, and the results are not what you expect. Stay tuned as we analyze the next chapter of the American social contract. The classroom is always open.